Okay, this is your grade 7 review for your test, which is tomorrow, Wednesday, October 31st, Halloween. Sorry, Tuesday, not Wednesday. So your 9 questions for your review. The first one gives you a number line with a dot and says, what is this dot as a fraction and a decimal? Well, if you look here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. So if you think about where the midway point would be, the midway point would be halfway through there, which is be here. This would be the halfway point. And the halfway point between 1 and 2, or 0 and 2, is the number 1. So when you realize that that has to be 0, 1, and 2, then you have to say between 0 and 1 there are three spaces. There's 1, 2, and 3, which means each space must have a value of a third. So if this is 0, then this must be a third. This must be 2/3, and that would be 1, which makes this red dot 1 and 1/3. This would be 1 and 2/3. So your dot is 1 and 1/3 as a fraction, or if you wanted to say 4/3, that is also the same thing. And instead of saying 1 and 1/3 as a fraction, you could also write it as a decimal, which is 1 and 3 repeating. Because if you check out what 1/3 is on a calculator, you brought up your calculator and went 1 divided by 3, we see that it's decimal 3 repeating to infinity. So you could put 1.33333 and then dot, 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 which means it goes on forever. But in mathematics, we use bar notation, which is a bar above the repeating digit, in this case 3, and that signifies that 3 goes on forever. The second question, there are 2 parts, both of which are asking, is it greater than, less than, or equal to? So the first question says 3/10 or 1/4, which one is larger or smaller? So I'm going to convert them both. You can either convert them all to percentages, convert them all to fractions, or convert them all to decimals to compare. I like decimals myself, but we can do either way. Let's do percentages for the first one. So the first one is 3/10, which is written as a fraction as this, which if I wanted to think of it as a percentage, I would make an equivalent fraction out of 100, and then I would say that's 30%. So 3/10 is worth 30%. 1/4, we all know what that is, because it's 25 out of 100, because I can multiply this by 25 and this by 25, and that is 25%. Oh, my board's locking up. Hello. Oh no. Well, that was awful. Hang on a second. Okay, we're back after the crash. So I think I was on question 1, and I had gotten down to, this was 30%, and this was 25%, and then I have to figure out which one's larger. This one's larger, so with our greater than, less than sign, I always eat the amount that's larger. So in this case, I say 3/10 is greater than 1/4. In the second example, we have a percentage and a fraction. This time I'm going to convert them both to decimals, just to show you a different way to interpret it. So 16% is 16/100ths, because we know percentages are out of 100, which as a decimal is 0.16. 4/25ths is equal to, I'm going to multiply by 4 because I want to get it out of 100, 16 out of 100, which is 16/100ths, which is written as 0.16. So as we clearly see, 16% and 4/25ths are both the same number, so therefore they are equal. Which means if you got 4 to 25 on this test you're going to write tomorrow, A, your mom's going to kill you, and B, you got 16%. Question 3 is $18, and it asks you to identify each of the following percentages. So 50% of $18 is one of the easiest questions. It's simply half of it, and you would get $9. Now to calculate 25% of $18, we know we're supposed to take half of half. Well, we've already said that half is $9, so half of $9 is $4.5, or in the real world we say $4.50. 10%, we know that we take our decimal. In this case, the decimal is here. It's not written, but it's there. And we move it one spot over. So in the fake world, we say $1.8, but in the real world, we say $1.80. For 1%, we don't move it one spot. We move it 2 spots. So move it once and then move it twice. We have 18 cents. And 5%, all we have to do is look at what 10% is and take half of it. Since 10% of $18 is $1.80, 5% is half of that, so it would be 90 cents. 90 cents, half of $1.80, right? For the next three, this is a 4, by the way. For the next three, we have to use these 5 to help us figure out the rest. So for 9%, the easiest way to mentally get that is to take 10% that you know, subtract 1%, and that will equal 9%. So 10% is $1.80. 1%'s 18 cents. So $1.80 take away 18 cents. Well, $1.80 take away 10 cents is $1.70. Take away 8 more cents is $1.62. So 9% of $18 is $1.62. For 24%, I'm going to do it down here. 24%, you're going to take 25%, which you know already. Take away 1%, which you know already, and you'll get 24%. So 25% is $4.50. 1% is 18 cents. $4.50 take away 18 cents. Well, $4.50 take away 10 is $4.40. Take away 8 more cents is $4.32. And the last one, 61%. I'll erase this so I get some work area. To get 61%, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. The easiest way is to take 50% plus 10% plus 1%. That would be 61%. 50% is $9. 10% is $1.80. 1% is 18 cents. Add them all together, you get $10.98. Question 4 says, which is largest? 59%, 3/5, or 0.5 repeating? Again, when we compare fractions, decimals, or percents, it's easiest to compare them when they're all in the same form. So for this particular one, I'm going to choose decimals. 59 hundredths is 0.59, so is 59%. 3/5 is 6/10 is an equivalent fraction, which means it is 0.6. And 0.5 repeating is 0.5555 to infinity. Of these three decimals, which one's the largest? B, 3/5, or 60 hundredths. Question 5 is your table. Take a fraction 11/20 and change it into a decimal and a percent. Now, without a calculator, you can take 11/20 and change it to a decimal by figuring out what the denominator is out of 100 or a 10 or 1,000 or whatever you want. So if I multiply this by 5 and this by 5, this equal sign means that this fraction and whatever this fraction is are the same value. In this case, it's 55 hundredths, which means it's a decimal of 0.55, 55 hundredths. That's also a good fraction because it tells us our percent right away. 55 hundredths is 55%. So if you got 11 out of 20 on tomorrow's test, your mom's still probably going to kill you. You got 55%. In the second example, it says, what is 0.4 as a fraction? Well, in order to be able to read that as a fraction, you have to know what number it is. What number is it? No, it's not. What number is it? 4/10, which is exactly what I want to write as my fraction. Now, that's not a wrong answer, is it? But it's not the best answer because it's not in lowest terms. And as Mr. Ethan Skevington will always tell you, correct. You can reduce it to lowest terms because both 4 and 10 share what factor? 2. So I can reduce it by a factor of 2, which means in lowest terms, we have 2/5 as the equivalent fraction to 4/10. Now, 4/10 is also equivalent to 40 hundredths, which as a percent is 40%. Now on your test, a common mistake people will make is putting what answer there? 4%, right? It's not 4%, it's 40%. So be careful of that. And your last line, 9% is so easy to change to a fraction because it's 9 out of 100. And as Mr. Ethan Skevington will tell you, that is lowest terms because there is no number that's divisible into both 9 and 100. That is common. So we leave it in lowest terms just like that. And as a decimal, 9 hundredths is simply written as 0.09, not decimal 9. That's 90%, not 9. 9 decimal 0? That's 9.0 is not the right answer. That's 900%. Ethan is buying a $14 C to spell cat. It is on sale for 10% off. What is the, this is supposed to say, what is the cost? What is the cost? So what is 10% of $14? Well, we know that's $1.40. So if we take our $14 and subtract $1.40. Oh, I didn't have to borrow there. Oops, 10. You get $12.60 is the final price you have to pay for the letter C. Then you could spell cat. Question 7. A $22,500 car is taxed at 15% HST. So what is 15% HST? So 15% as a decimal is 0.15, 1500ths, or 15%. If I think about 15% of 22,500, I can really think of it as this. And when I do that there, I take my calculator, 15% of 22,500 is 3,375. So that's how much tax you have to pay, right? But that's not the answer. So what do you have to do to figure out the price? Take your 22,500, no. Add on to it the tax, and the final price you pay is $25,875. That is the price of the car with 15% HST. Shh. Is there a question? Continue. Question number, this is 9 or 8? 8. Question 8 says, Mac is selling a bag of Dum-Dums for $40 Wilmot dollars. It is on sale for 10% off, but must pay 10% tax. So the first thing is, well, 10% of $40 is easy, or 40 Wilmot dollars in this case. 10% of that is going to be simply 4 Wilmot dollars. So if I subtract that from the cost of the bag, the sale price of that bag of Dum-Dums is going to be $36, or Wilmot dollars. So then we take 10% tax. So what is 10% of $36? That is going to be $3.60 Wilmot dollars. That is the tax you have to pay. So add that on to $36 and you get $39. Sorry, 39.60 Wilmot dollars is the final price for the bag of Dum-Dums, not 40. Right? Be careful because that question is on your test. So the trick question is going to be, it's the same price. But we know now that the 10% tax is not calculated on 40, it's calculated on 36. So it makes the amount of tax you have to pay less. It's less than $4. Of course, yeah, something like that. And the last question is, do you know how to change these to decimals to compare them? So if I take my calculator and I go 138 divided by 421, as a percentage, what percent is that roughly? It is roughly 300, well, I'm going to put it down as this, 0.327. I'll leave it as a decimal. Oh, 8, sure. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, yes, yes. 3.28, roughly. Or 32.8%, roughly. And we already know how to get that percentage. The next one is 93 divided by 280, and that is 0.332, or roughly 33.2%. So which one is greater? The second one is greater. Therefore, 138 out of 421 is less than 93 out of 280.